This is your module 2 discussion of the same chapter, chapter number 6, safety and first aid. Today we are going to learn regarding the first aid, such as what is first aid, at what situation the first aid should be given to the patient or the needy people, what is the importance of first aid, and how can we apply or give the first aid to the needy person. There are different kinds of cases for which we can apply the first aid. In this video, we are going to learn the situation of burns by firing, such as in case of minor burns, what would be the application of first aid. In case of severe burns, what is the procedure of applying first aid. And the last one is chemical burns. In the case of chemical burns, how can we apply the first aid to the patient or the needy person. Up to this, in this video, we are going to study. First thing is, if I say what is first aid, in a simple language, we can say first aid is the care given to the injured person, and this injured person is known as the patient. First aid is the care given to the injured person or patient before a doctor or nurse can attend him. This is first aid. And if I say at what situation the first aid is applicable, the answer is when a person gets injured by meeting an accident. Generally, a nurse or doctor may not be available immediately, right? In this kind of situations, first aid is very essential or will be proved very useful if we are able to apply this care to the patient. And what is the main importance of applying first aid? The importance is, if we adopt a proper first aid procedure, that can easily prevent the injury from getting worse. This is the importance of using or applying first aid. Now the question is, under what situations the first aid is very important to be given to the patient? And the answer is, we can apply this first aid at different situations of mainly accidents. And accidents may be happened or occurred in form of either burns or any sort of other type of accidents. In this video, we are going to learn the different situations of burns for which we can easily apply the first aid. The first case is in case of minor burns. These are the burns that are occurred due to the firing, and it causes the formation of burns on the skin. And in such minor burns, the skin becomes red. but there will be no formation of blisters on the skin. Now let's understand what is the meaning of blister. Blister is a small bubble formation on the skin along with water caused by burning. Minor burns are occurred or caused by burning, and blisters are formed in case of only severe burns, but for case of minor burns there will be no formation of blister on the skin, but the skin will become reddish in color. You can easily observe the transformation of the skin or the site of that skin to red, and this is the case of minor burns where only skin becomes red, or that part or the site of skin will become red and there will be no formation of blisters. This is the case of minor burns. And how can we apply the first aid in minor burns? First, we have to identify those sites of skin that become red due to the burning. Thereafter, we have to put that burnt areas immediately, mind it, under the cold running water. This is the picture. We can easily consult that the hand has been putting under the cold running water at the specific burning area, and this is known as the first aid for the case of minor burns. And applying this first aid to that burnt areas, we can easily prevent the inner portion of the skin from getting burnt. Now the second case is in case of severe burns by burning. What is the procedure of applying first aid? Now always remember that due to the severe burns on the skin, there will be the formation of blisters, but in case of minor burns there will be no the formation of blisters on the skin. And blisters are the small bubble formation on the skin along with water, and it is caused by burning. Now in case of severe burns, blisters are formed on the skin, and that's why it is more serious. We need to take care of it seriously. And how can we apply the first aid? The first step is we should not break the blisters manually. This is the first step. Now if we see that the blisters are broken automatically, then we have to follow this instruction, and that is we have to then wash those blisters with soap, or we can say antiseptic solution and the water. In the second step, you can see this picture. A cloth has been used loosely to cover the blisters in order to protect that site from the flies or the dust or any infection. In the third step, we have to cover those blisters lightly but not heavily or tightly with a very clean piece of cloth, or we can say in another word, with bandage. And what is the aim of using such clean piece of cloth or cover? To protect those blisters or those sites or burns from the dust, flies and the infection. And before covering that sides of the burns of the skin, we have to first clean the cloth or the bandage by dipping it in a solution of baking soda in water. This is the procedure of disinfecting the cloth. And after disinfecting the cloth, we can use the cloth or bandage to tie the blisters and can be easily applied to the burnt area. These are the few steps we can follow and will be known as the first aid in case of severe burns. Now it is very important to note down that in case of very serious burns, after applying the first aid, we should take the patient immediately to a doctor, and the patient should be given the advice of taking a plenty of water or drinking a plenty of water to minimize the effect of burns on the skin. Severe burns may also be happened by the accident of using chemicals such as acid. A person may also get burnt accidentally by a chemical, mainly by acid. This is the case of severe burn of the skin of hand, the given picture. Indicating mainly by acid. And in such cases, the first aid we can apply is we have to wash the burnt area first immediately with plenty of water, so that the chemical such as acid is washed off from those sides of the burns. This is the first step, and thereafter we have to follow the treatment for burnt as mentioned in the severe burns case, such as we should not break the blisters. We should wash those blisters with soap and water. We have to cover with cloth or using bandage to those blister sites in order to prevent those sites from dust, flies, infection. Thereafter, we should visit the doctor for better treatment. These were the few topics of today's discussion. I hope the topics of today's discussion are very much clear to you. Once again, I want to mention those topics, that what is first aid, at which situation first aid is essential, how can we apply the first aid, what is the importance of first aid in case of minor burns, how can we apply first aid in case of severe burns, as well as in case of chemical burns, what is the procedure of applying the first aid. Up to this. Thanks for watching.